Okay, so welcome to the third webinar that it's an open house, and today the idea is that we will talk a little bit about internet society, our structure, and how we work. So welcome again, and thank you for joining this call. Maybe in order to understand how internet society began, I think it's important to talk a little bit about the previous. Just give me a second because it seems like someone has an open microphone. Okay, that's okay. Then okay, here we go. Okay, so we will talk a little bit about the history of ISO, how it began, and how it has been evolutioning. So ISO was created in 1991. It was created by Vinton Cerf. Vinton Cerf is one of the inventors of TCP/IP protocol. And when Vinton Cerf was creating ISO, well, when he was involved in the process of the internet and all those processes of thinking about what was going to be the future of the internet, he thought that a community was going to appear related to the internet, and that's why he decided to create this society that now it's all around, it's around the world. So this community was created as a non-profit organization. Actually, it's the only organization that it's exclusively dedicated to the development of the internet, and the main task of our organization is to concentrate efforts and actions on particular issues on the internet. Then a little bit about our mission and vision. Our vision is wide enough. Actually, it's challenging. Our vision is to an internet that it's for everyone, and in that sense, we are looking for building and supporting the communities that make the internet work, advancing the development and application of internet infrastructure and technologies, open standards, and advocating for policy that is consistent with our view of the internet. So that would be our mission and our vision. Then how do we work? Actually, we work in the intersection of technology, development, and policy. What we do is that we have different experts in these three different topics or pillars, and according to the needs and the requirements of our local communities, we involve our strategy at a local level, and we gather the needs and requirements from the different local chapters. And according to this, we create a plan or some action points that we will develop during each year. Then some of our global partners, as you know, for us it's very difficult to have to evolve or to work alone with a vision that is as ambitious as the one that we have. So in order to address and to understand the different point of views of the different of the internet community, we look for partnerships and we look for collaboration with different organizations, and some of those are the ones that you can see in the presentation. we try to be open enough to gather the different sectors of the internet. So in that sense, we have international bodies and assemblies, we have non-governmental organization, technical experts and engineers, we have the participation of universities and academic institutions, we have local and global businesses, and we have rural or urban students and teachers. Then, in terms of organizations in LAC region, we work together with LACNIC, NIC Chile, NIC Brazil, NIC Mexico, Red Científica Peruana, CCAT, CTU, and the NIC from Colombia. Then, in terms of regional partnerships, we have partnerships with the PEC, CITEL, ECOSOC, GAIR, Human Rights Council, ICANN, IGF, ITU, and NPCA, OECD, UNECA, UNESCO, WIPO, and World Summit Awards. Then, who works and collaborates in ISOC? Actually, we have an staff that is hired by ISOC, but just give me a second because it seems like someone has an open microphone.
No, only if
Okay, I think now all microphones are closed. Oh no, there is still a microphone, but I don't have. Niurka, can you help me to mute your microphone? I don't know why I don't know why it is not letting me put you in mute.
We work heavily on it.
Okay. I think now it's working. Okay, so who works for ISOC? We have a staff of about 100 people, but most of the work, and actually it's one of the most important parts of the collaboration that we have is with our chapters and SIGs, which are especially interest groups. Chapters and SIGs are a group of people that volunteer themselves to collaborate with us and to contribute to our mission and vision. What they do is that they gather all the requirements and needs from a local community. They bring that requirements and needs to us, and then we mix it into the different strategies that we have in order to bring our main planning into local communities and bringing the requirements and needs from the communities to us. So that is the way we work with our chapters. Something very important, just to highlight, is that all chapter members are volunteers. They are not part of the staff, and they work for free because they believe in our vision and our vision. Then who can be part of ISOC? Anyone can be part of ISOC. The only thing that a person needs to be part of ISOC is to agree with our vision, and our values. Then our staff members for Latin America and the Caribbean. In first place, we have Sebastian Balagamba, who is our regional bureau director. Then we have a specialist in the technical area, who is Christian O'Flaherty. He addresses all kind of topics like IXPs, IPv6 implementation, or anything that is technical. Christian is the person who is addressing all that kind of issues. Then we have Cherno Nosepa. He is our regional affairs manager. He is working also a lot with the Caribbean region. and helping a lot with Caribbean chapters. Then we have Raquel Gato. She is our policy advisor. So anything that it's related to, for example, IGF or public policy, she is the one who is developing and providing support to our chapters in those terms. And then myself, I am managing the chapters and supporting the chapters in their development. About the chapters in our region, we have 24 chapters. Most of them are in the Latin part. Now we are working a lot to develop the Caribbean. It is one of our main goals for this year, and also to incorporate the missing Latin chapters that are not chartered yet in South America and Central America, like Colombia. About the constitution of the chapters, if a group of volunteers want to create a chapter, what they do is that they apply, they fill an application that will define the founders of the chapters, will define the objectives and the priorities of the chapters and their bylaws. Something important in the constitution of the chapters is that we ask as an organization to have at least 25 founding members. Those 25 founding members should be from the different sectors, which means that they should come from the public sector, the private sector, academy, and civil society. If a group of volunteers do not have this variety in their founding members, we cannot open a chapter. And this is because we would like to have the different perspective from the different sectors, so that the chapters can find solutions and can understand the needs of the different internet sectors. Then, in terms of bylaws, we provide to the chapter a guidance on how they should structure their bylaws, but this is just a guide, because chapters should take this guidance and then translate it into the local law. Most of our chapters, and actually it's one of our requirements, is that the chapter is going to be registered at the local level. So what they do is that they create these bylaws, and they incorporate the local requirements according to the law. Some of the content that the bylaws have is, for example, the objectives of the chapter. In this term, what chapters do is that they define the priorities for the country and how they will develop their objectives at a local level. Then there is a definition of the membership. This definition will define, for example, if a member can be a member if they live outside their country, or if it is a foreign living in the country. So all that kind of definitions will be integrated into the membership definition. Then for some chapters, the membership fee, to be honest, in terms of Latin America and the Caribbean, we do not have many chapters that charge a fee, but for some of them that charge a fee, they have to define that fee and how they will charge that fee in their bylaws. Then we have the definition of the board members. For example, the responsibilities of the board members, for example, the chair, the secretary, the treasurer, the vice chair. So in the bylaws, the chapter will define who are going to lead the chapter and what are different responsibilities that they will have inside the chapter. And then as last point, we have the committees that are like working groups, and it will depend on every chapter. Some chapters have working groups according to different locations in the country. Other chapters have working groups according to topics. For example, they can have a working group for policy, another working group for education, another working group for the technical topics. It would depend on the chapter, but this part is very important because the committees will define the different opportunities that the members can have in terms of local of the local chapter. Here I have a question from Jason. He says, was the multi-stakeholder approach always stipulated as a chapter requirement? Yes. Yes, we should have at least one representative of the different sectors. Then, okay, how to contact a chapter or be part of a chapter? Well, in first place, you have to go to our webpage, into this link. And when you are in that link, you will find at the end of the page a link that says become a member. There you can become a member. When you become a member, you first become a global member. And then if you like, you can join to a chapter. And how do you do that? When you are filling this form, there will be an option with the different chapters that we have available where you can click and you can ask for incorporation in the chapter. So it means that when you check a chapter, let's say that you live in Trinidad and Tobago. So you check that chapter, and immediately a request will be sent to the chapter. The chapter will revise your application, and if they agree, they will accept your request. And if they don't, they will tell you why they are not accepting your request. Probably could be, well, one of the reasons why they probably cannot accept a requirement is because of the definition of the membership. For example, let's say that I am from Costa Rica and I am applying for Trinidad and Tobago chapter, and let's say that the chapter, as the membership definition, they said that people from another country cannot be a member, so probably they will deny my request. So that's the way you can become part of a chapter, or you are denied from a chapter or from a SIG. Then if you want to contact a chapter, the only thing that you have to do is in this same page, you just go to the map that appears there, and you just have to click on the orange dots that will appear in every country. The orange dots mean that we have a chapter there. If it is in white, it means that we do not have a chapter there. So for example, we do not have a chapter in Colombia or in Belize, but we have a chapter in Guyana, we have a chapter in Panama, in Costa Rica, and so on. So the only thing that you have to do is to click on the dot, and then it will appear the contact name and the contact email. So if you want to contact your chapter or someone in a specific chapter, you just have to send an email to that email address. Then how do chapters contribute to community? Let me open the chat again because okay. Okay, so how do chapters contribute to community? Well, there are 4 big areas. One is education, the other one is community programs, public policy, and networking. So in terms of education, most of our chapters, they hold events at the local level. For example, some of them are organizing or are part of IGFs. Then also they have some of them, they perform some events for the membership. It will depend on each chapter. Then community programs, some chapters, as I said, they have committees or working groups, so they extend those opportunities to the community. Then we have public policy. In these terms, what we do is that we inform and advise on internet topics. We also provide some training to chapter members to help them to be a reference at local level. And then networking, that promotes the communication and the exchange of ideas. Why should you join a chapter? First of all, build and expand your contact network. The development of idea of your local community. For example, we have a program that I will explain in some slides that it's called Beyond the Net, and it's the way we provide some funding to our chapters to develop local projects, and then professional growth and visibility. I will open the chat again just to see is okay. Perfect. Then we have what we call the special interest groups. These are groups that are similar to chapters, but they are not based on a local community. For example, chapters are based on a country. Special interest groups are based on a topic. So we have different special interest groups that are open right now. We have one for blockchain, we have community networks, cybersecurity, Internet of Foods, Internet of Things, interplanetary, woman-sick, and we have youth-sick. So if you are interested in any of these topics and you want to collaborate or to receive information about this group, the only thing that you have to do is to go into your profile and select the 6 where you are interested to participate. Then opportunities and fellowships. We have fellowship for IETF, and actually we try to support the people that goes into our fellowship to the IETF so that they can collaborate and work actively in the IETF. Then we have fellowship for IGF. Also, we have local fellowships like the ones that you are receiving for LAC IGF. The idea of this fellowship is that the fellows can come to the fellowship and learn about the process and the topics and the way that the topics are developed in the event, and can bring all that knowledge into a local IGF or into a local event for the chapter. Then we have online training that it's called, well, the platform is called Inforum. There you will find free trainings about public policy, about technical topics, and all of them are free for our community. Then we have information for our membership. We have a newsletter that is sent every month where we put all the events that the chapters will have and the events that they already done. So what chapters do is that they send information about the event that they hold, and they explain the experience and what did happen there. so that the community can know what each chapter is doing. And then we also have social media. We have a page in Google Plus, and we have a page in Facebook, and an account in Twitter. And at the end, we have the chapters that they will decide on the different opportunities at the local level. Then about the program Beyond the Net, which is our program for funding the different projects. We have 3 different grants, and the chapterton that is not a grant but is part of Beyond the Net. The small grant, which is $3,500, then we have $10,000 for the medium grant and $30,000 for the large grant. So it means that if you are a member and you want to develop a project that will benefit your community or the development of the internet in your community, you can apply for this grant. And how can you apply? Well, first of all, you have to contact your chapter. You have to explain the project to the chapter, and if the chapter agrees, then you can apply for the funds. Something that is very important here is that the resources or the funding will be managed by the chapter, so that they can ensure that the person that is applying is using the funds according to the application they did. Then we have the chapterton, which is it's not a program, but it's an activity that we do with our chapters every year, and it is like a competition between chapters by addressing a global topic. For example, last year we did the chapterton about digital schools, and the idea was that every chapter would do a project related to digital schools. So each chapter will apply with one project, and each chapter will receive $2,000 to develop that project. At the end, the best project will receive a prize of $3,000 that will spend on the development of the chapter. There is a question from Jason. He says, I don't think I get the monthly newsletter. Actually, you should receive it. We are sending it to the email that you registered for your profile. So sometimes some people is getting it in the spam, but we can ensure that we are sending it to all our LAC membership. Actually, the newsletter for this month was sent today in the morning. Okay, Roxanne says that the email says, that the subject is Revista ISOCLAC, but actually it is in English and in Spanish. So you will get it in both languages. Okay, so that is about the chapterton and the grants. Okay. Then priorities for 2018, as you all know, our priorities are the campaigns. We are focusing on community networks, manners, IoT security, and the multi-stakeholder model. So for this year, we are basing our efforts into these 4 campaigns. We are assigning one fellow per chapter to develop at least one of those campaigns at a local level. And we are working together with them to create an initiative that will address any of those campaigns or different campaigns. Community networks, it's about providing access to our community, and actually we just signed an agreement with CITEL on the development of community networks for the region. Then we have manners, which is a routing a routing agreement that will address problems related to incorrect routing information, traffic, spoof sources for IP addresses, and problems related to coordination and collaboration with network operators. This one is more for ISPs, but it's something that it's important for us to keep the security of the network. Then in terms of IoT, we have the project that is called, well, this project was began in ISOC as a response to the importance of the security. So this project is called Online Trust Alliance, and we have a webpage where we are publishing like best practices and ways to address the part of security in terms of IoT. And at last point, we have the multi-stakeholder model, which is something that we are focusing because we would like to work with the different sectors of the internet, trying to bring them to a model of cooperation and collaboration. Sometimes consensus is not something that we can get, but we should learn as a region that we can work together and collaborate to achieve common objectives. Give me a second to check the chat. Okay, Roxanne says, for the community network on the agreement signed, region defined by, can more information access on it? Yes, actually, I will copy. Oh my God. I can send you after the call the link about the agreement that we signed so that you all can have it. So I will send it after the call. And okay. And then how can you get involved? First of all, become a member, then join a chapter or a SIG, and then participate. There is something that is very important, and actually I would like the different fellows for the chapter workshop to collaborate, and it's the opt-in campaign that we are managing right now. This campaign, what says or what addresses is that we cannot use your personal data without your authorization. So we are sending several different emails to our community to provide their permission to use their information, their personal data as an organization. So since last year, we have sent different emails to the community asking for that permission. The problem that we are having is that in about 2 weeks, the time to gather that permission will expire. And after that, unfortunately, we cannot have in our database the people that did not give that authorization to us, and they will not be part of our membership. So it is very important, if you have contact with the community, and if you work with the community, to remember them to provide us with that opt-in option. And actually, I'm going to share with you how you can provide that that permission to us. So if you go, let me share with you my screen. Okay. Let me be logging. Okay, and share. Okay, so these are the steps to provide the permission to us. In first place, you have to go into your profile. Here I am. So then you have to sign in. Even for you, if you haven't done this, it is very important that you do it, because otherwise your membership will expire by May 25th. Okay, so now I am in my profile and I just have to go to confirm your fellowship here, which is the first message that you will get. Then here you just have to select, I provide my expressly informed consent to the use of my personal data as described in the Internet Privacy Statement. And then you just hit on update and review preferences. In this way, you are providing to us the permission to use your personal data, which is very important for all of us. Then Reynolds says, how can we implement the opt-in options in the local chapters? Actually, we had a meeting with the different chapters and we provide the chapters with generic message that they can send to the membership with the different steps to do that. Also, we are sending messages from our IT team to the membership every week, and actually in these last 2 weeks we are sending more messages, and we have been very we are working hard to provide that information to our community to get the different options for the opt-in. Then Jason says, is the GDPR related membership problem listed as something that can be easily distributed at the chapter level? Yes, actually, in the privacy part, the statement, you will find all the different information about that. Then Jason says, do you get a notice if non-compliant or compliant? Yes. Actually, if you haven't done your opt-in, you will receive a message until you do the opt-in or decide to do the opt-out. Probably you did last year, but last year we sent the first message at the end of the year, so probably you did it last year. But we continue with the we continue mailing the opt-in messages until we get at least most of our members. The problem is that up to date we just have 50% of our membership that confirm that that consent. So we are worried because most of our membership will be erased by May 25th. So it is very, very important that we give a special treatment to this topic. Okay. Let me see how you can get involved. And zoom, share. And okay. And then my contact and the Facebook accounts. I don't know if you have any question or doubt that I can address for you. Comments? Okay, if we don't have any comments, I think we are done. For the fellows, for the chapter workshop, important to remember that the next deadline for your initiative is May 21st, and that the online trainings deadline is May 21st too. Okay, and with that, let me see, I think there is something in the chat. Okay, so I have a question about it says, I wanted to change my username a few times ago, but I couldn't, and also the portal don't give us an option. Okay, if you want to make any change, you have to write to AMS help. Let me look for the email address. AMS, it's AMS support. So you have to write, I'm copying in the chat. You have to write to this address and ask them to help you with that problem. Then Jason says, it would be great if there could be more orientation guidance on the development committees aligned to ISO Global Regular Consider. Okay, the committees depend on the chapter. So if a chapter decide not to have committees, they probably won't have. We do not have a guidance or something for committees because it will depend on each chapter. So each chapter, according to the local needs and the local requirements, they will decide if they want a committee or not. What we can do is maybe we can bring some of the chapters that already have a committee or something similar, and maybe they can share with the rest of the chapters their experience and how they are managing those committees. Because to be honest, one of the easiest ways to manage a chapter is to delegate. If you try as a chapter leader to do everything yourself, it is going to be very difficult because there is a lot to do, and internet is something that is that it's related to the different topics on a country. For example, it is related to economy, to education, to everything. So if you create committees or working groups, it will save you a lot of time, because first of all, we all are not specialists in all the topics, and sometimes we will need specialists for the committees. So it is a really good way to develop a specific topic or to at least reach out more people and more members. Okay, then there is another question, if the video is going to be available and if it's possible to download it. Yes, after the call I will send the different recordings from the session in English and from the session in Spanish. Okay, and that's it. So thank you all for your time, and hope to see you in the last webinars that we will have, one for each of the different campaigns, and have a great day. I will send you the link to this recording and all the information that we got here. So thank you very much and have a great day. See you.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.